Coming up, what an excellent day for collars. Sounds like callers, right? It's like caller number 5, you're on the air. This is an excellent day for callers. 666-6666. Hi, what's your problem?
All right, don't be homophonophobic here.
Homophonophobic?
Homophonophobic.
That's when you don't like E.T.
It's not that I don't like E.T., I just don't want him in my neighborhood.
I mean, that is the idea. He is an alien. Right?
He's an alien.
just they could. You're out. It's Halloween. He could be any one of these little shits. And it's like that Yoda over there, but no, that's too obvious. It's probably one of these ghosts or something. Well, howdy, folks, and welcome to minute 126 of the Exorcist Minute, a show where we endeavor to examine, extrapolate, and excavate the Exorcist, minute by terrifying minute. My name is Lester Ryan Clark.
And I'm Keenan Diaz.
And we'll be your holy guides on this journey through what some have called the scariest movie of all time. Okay, so our minute begins with a shot of Father Dyer's Roman collar.
And then ends with a shot of the McNeils driving off in their Mercedes.
Mercedes? McCambridge? That was the stupidest joke on this show, I think.
There we go. We're saving it for the end here. It only gets stupider from here.
Mm-hmm. But I was like, how, we talk about the Mercedes. How can you name that car and not, I don't know. Maybe there are other podcast hosts who are made of stronger stuff than we. But but seriously, folks, we're coming to the end, and I'm getting a little choked up. I didn't know if this was going to happen or not, but here we are. We only got, what is it, about 2 more minutes of the movie on this thing, and then 5 more minutes of credits, which when we started this thing, I had a mind to squash them all into one episode, because I heard that's how some of the other movie minutes do it. But now that we're here at the end of the road, I'm not so sure rushing the ending would be fair to all you folks, and also selfishly, I'm not quite ready to say goodbye to this movie either. So
what about us?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? We haven't pat our own backs in quite some time. But no, so I think we'll keep those minutes and do some stuff in them in addition to the credits. Maybe that's where we can have our mailbag episode for folks who want to write in and tell us your experiences with the film, with the franchise, or just anything that you want to write to us about. It's like we'll do like a not quite live Q&A, but might also be a good place for announcements for our next podcasts. So keep an ear out for that. But we are not done with this movie yet, folks. So let's enjoy these last couple minutes here. So at the top of this minute, we got the shot of Father Dyer's Roman collar. We cut back to Reagan. Now it's a close-up. Remember, we had caught her looking at Dyer, maybe even looking at the collar in the previous minute, just sort of fixated on something about him. And now, in this close-up, we see her act on an impulse. Indeed, she is possessed. She is compelled, and she moves forward, throws her arms around Dyer, and gives him a kiss on the cheek. I remember when I saw this the first time, I thought, oh, that's really sweet. It's not even the same priest, but somewhere deep down, she does remember that she was helped by someone wearing this same collar. And watching it now, what interests me is that she doesn't do this when Chris introduces him as Father Dyer. She's very much, hello, Father, hello, friend of my mother's, right? She doesn't go, Father Dyer, oh my God, it's all coming back, right? So him being a priest, because she knows what priests are,
Right.
is not the thing that triggers her. It's not, oh, you're a priest. Priests helped me. It's more, oh, you're wearing the same thing that someone who helped me was wearing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Not even necessarily remembering Damien or Marin, just in the midst of all that darkness, she remembers that collar.
Yeah, and so that brings up this question, right? Of well, what is Chris saying that she doesn't remember what part of this? Like
Right.
when going back into the movie, so she doesn't remember the party where she met Father Dyer.
Right.
Obviously, she was meeting a bunch of people that night.
Uh-huh.
She did go to bed early because she wasn't feeling well, etc.
Right.
And so the "you're gonna die up there" and peeing on myself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's gone. That memory's gone, but also the sweet moment in the bathtub afterwards, where she's asking
Right.
Mother, "What's wrong with me?" That's gone too.
Yeah.
So
Like,
what do you think? Like, yeah, where is it? Where are the memories gone?
she doesn't remember any of it.
Right.
Not stealing that cookie. She doesn't remember making the dumb bird.
Making the dumb bird, right? Yeah, exactly. So, just does she remember meeting Captain Howdy in the Ouija board at all?
Right.
Does she remember going into the church and desecrating it?
Mm-hmm.
But even the nice things that happened there, does she remember going to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier in the book and
Yeah.
and asking, having her first conversation basically with her mother about religion and the
Right.
afterlife? So is that just gone? Which is possible.
Father Dyer, I had to like show her a picture of her father, and then she got all like bright-eyed and happy, and then I had to say, but no, he's an asshole.
Don't worry, I turned her against her father. Good
Yeah.
and good and straight here. Yeah, so I think that's an open question. That again, when you're watching the movie, I don't think you're really thinking about that. But now that we're
Right.
looking at it in this way, it's like, oh, geez, yeah. Like, what are we saying about her mental state here,
Mm.
and what she thinks about all this, right?
My assumption was that she is aware that like something has happened. She just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know what.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like rather than like she just lost all that time.
Mm-hmm.
All that time is just like gray.
Yeah.
So it's like I think I was sick. I don't know how
Mm-hmm.
long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what I did when I was sick. All I remember
Mm-hmm.
is that I was sick and then I woke up and I'm fine.
Yeah.
I think that
Yeah.
is that's the best explanation.
And maybe
for
you're
me.
hoping that's what it's like. Yeah. Can we talk about Sally Field for a minute?
Oh, Keenan, haven't we been talking about Sally Field? Wait for it. For most of these episodes.
Oh, and when I say, can we talk about Sally Field for a minute? I mean the whole minute.
For anybody, the
whole episode.
For anybody with blue balls, the whole time. Yeah.
The whole time.
There we go. Sorry, I didn't mean. I thought about it. It's like, oh man, people are like, this might be torture.
Right. No, but I was thinking about this because I was thinking about Sally Field, as I often do.
Uh-huh.
Because of Sybil, which is why we started talking about Sally Field.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is the first episode of The Exorcist Minute you're listening to. We talked about Sally Field originally because Linda Blair on set would watch Sally Field in The Flying Nun.
Yes.
And so that was part of the evidence that we saw that she got to have sort of a normal childhood as much as possible while she's making it. But then we also talked about this movie Sybil, which popularized the idea, like in the public consciousness, of multiple personality disorder, which is now known as dissociative identity disorder, right? And in this movie, Sally Field's character Sybil has DID, and she's being treated by Joanne Woodward, the doctor who had won her Oscar in the 1950s for playing someone with 3 different personalities, the 3 faces of Eve, right?
Yeah, and also just to jump in real quick, our beloved Willie is in that movie as one of the doctors. She plays Dr. Lazarus.
Oh my God, I forgot that part of it. That's
in Sybil,
cool.
yeah.
In Sybil, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's right, Gina Petrushka. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so we've talked about Sally Field for a bunch of reasons, but anyway, so like it was making me think about, because in Sybil it's about this childhood trauma, and that is her way of dealing with the childhood trauma is manifesting dissociative identity disorder.
Right.
And then that's a movie from the 70s that's based on shaky science from the 50s. So I was
Hmm.
looking up again, like, do people what do people think today? Do people repress traumatic memories? And it looks again, just simple Google searches. So it looks like that the jury is more out on this than I might have originally thought.
Huh.
So when you go to like the NIH website and read
Hmm.
some abstracts about the literature, they are kind of in agreement that people can repress traumatic memories and their painful memories.
Uh-huh.
But now sort of the question about them is, do they come back? And that's the open question right
Hmm.
now. And
Okay.
so I saw some articles that were like, from Psychology Today, the persistent myth of repressed memories. So a lot of articles now are trying to label it a myth of repressed memories,
Huh.
that you can go in there and get them out.
Okay.
So apparently, in this one article, again from Psychology Today, which is written by Dr. David Ley,
Uh-huh.
Ley, he's saying that there's polling, and he brings up Sybil as well, that
Hmm.
there's polling that between 60 and 89% of mental health clinicians believe that you can suppress memories and bring them back.
Hmm.
But modern psychologists, like who study the way that the brain works, aren't
Right.
sure that that's right. So that
Hmm.
even within people who go and treat mental illness, there is the thought that yes, that does happen in a Sybil sort of way, whether that's in DID or just like we have here in Reagan, just forgetting these memories completely.
Right.
But other scientists who are more up into like the research of every day, as opposed to, okay, well, I've read articles and maybe I learned about this in med school. So Lay is arguing that the people who are on the front lines of treating people are not on the up-to-date science, that repressed memories are kind of an overstated idea.
So it's a difference between like the file has been put in the trash
Right.
versus the trash has been emptied.
Yes.
And it's like there's no way you can retrieve that file again.
Yeah, and that's the tricky thing. We've talked about memory several times, right? That basically memory is not something you read, memory is something you write, right? So you're
Mm-hmm.
constantly writing
Right.
memories. Yeah. So yeah. So some people go as far as say that repressed memories do not exist.
Huh.
So there seems to be a pretty wide range of arguments amongst people who study this. So,
Interesting. Huh.
hmm
I wonder. I mean, there might be some study about this, but like
hmm
perhaps the memory can be completely gone, but like I don't know, talking about like the ship of Theseus before, right?
hmm
Like I've read pieces about like your body, like
hmm
different parts of your body, like being triggered when like reintroduced to something like a temperature or a smell or
Oh yeah.
a some kind of like outer stimulus, like you just like feel the texture of, I don't know, like a baseball glove or something like that,
Hmm
and it maybe like it starts with the sense of touch or the sense of hearing or the sense of smell, and it I don't know, like reconstructs the memory slash retrieves the memory
Right.
from that,
It doesn't need to be in the forward part of your brain where you remember it necessarily, you're saying.
Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Like maybe, your grandpa like wore like a certain type of cologne,
hmm
and, it's been long enough to where you've completely, like if what some of these modern psychologists are saying is true,
hmm
like, that file is completely gone, the trash has been emptied, it's been
hmm
like double, triple emptied. I don't even know, like how do it's been overwritten, whatever, right?
hmm
But then you just pass by somebody who's wearing that cologne
hmm
one day, and it somehow it like it brings it back, and because it's not something that we read, it's something that we write, it's able to kind of like piece it together in that way,
hmm Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, but there's been some recent studies about like the trauma, like the everyday sort of, and they call it this, like the trauma of, say, poverty, or the trauma
Mm,
of racism,
right.
or sexism,
Uh-huh.
and then obviously like transphobia and that kind of thing,
Right. Yeah.
like how it does things to your body, and
Yeah.
even if it's not tied to a particular memory of this happening or this event happening, and that's what's bothering me, like
Mm,
that it has the same types of effect in your body, and produces, physical health outcomes similar to like if you did have a PTSD symptom about a specific memory.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just pulling that up. There's an article in Washington Post.
Mm.
This is an article from the Washington Post from 2022. The residual trauma of poverty never leaves you. So, yeah, so there is some work on that about,
Okay.
about how it is impacting you like PTSD, even if it's not triggered by an individual memory. And
Wow.
a follow-up article in 2023 from the Washington Post says that poverty can be transmitted in utero, the trauma of poverty.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
That's oh my God. Like before you even like make your entrance.
Right, exactly. That
Jesus.
you're born with with PTSD about struggling,
Yeah.
and being poor and being in a society that doesn't value you,
Yeah.
and working all day, and not getting anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I have heard of that. I have heard of
Hmm.
generational trauma. Like I always thought it was just called generational trauma.
Yeah.
But is that what you said?
Well, they call it, poverty trauma spilling
Uh-huh.
from one generation to the next. Yeah.
Mm. I've heard it like in reference to, descendants of people who were brought over to this country against their will,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
and used as slaves and and stuff like that. And you can have like many generations separated from that, and you still like you like that what did you say, that residual
Yeah.
trauma is still there, or descendants of Holocaust survivors,
Uh-huh. Right.
or yeah, like so many. Man, that's just
Yeah,
that's so
that it becomes physiological.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah. So just make sure that
Yeah.
Reagan doesn't pass it on to her kids, Reagan. Just keep forgetting it
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Keep
Um. Yeah, suddenly a little pea soup doesn't really seem that bad.
Yeah, Damien, get over
Yeah. Geez.
it.
Yeah, let's go back. I mean, I think we've made this joke before, but
Mhm,
this is the perfect spot for it. Let's go back
mhm.
to some lighter fare. In The Exorcist.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, sheesh. But yeah. So okay. So she kisses him.
Mhm,
After which she gives him this look. I can't tell if it's
mhm,
that she doesn't know why she did that, why she
mhm,
kissed him, or that she wants to say more but doesn't have the words, maybe doesn't even like understand it herself. I'm kind of
mhm.
going with the latter. What do you
Hmm.
think?
Yeah, I think that Reagan remembers every single second of what happened to her.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yes, and that she's been keeping it from her mother to spare her feelings, and
Uh,
she hugs Father Dyer because she is grateful for him. But then, if she does say anything here, she's going to give away the goat and hurt her mother's feelings. And
right. Did you say give away the goat?
oh, I did.
No, we're keeping that in. We are absolutely keeping that in.
I know, everybody. Don't give away the goat.
Right?
You keep that goat.
Yeah. Don't let the hat out of the bag.
Oh, I love those screaming
I
goats.
love those goat screamings. Oh, man. Um, but okay, what were we saying?
What it's supposed to be? Give away the ghost, I
It's
suppose.
give away the ghost. Give up the ghost.
Oh, don't give away the. Why would you give away the goat if you get the milk for free?
No. It's why buy the cow
uh,
when you can have the milk for free.
hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, why
Which
buy the cow if he spilt his milk?
yeah. Why buy the cow if you're going to cry over the free milk that only happened because you gave that mouse a cookie?
That's right.
It's just the way the cookie crumbles. All right. Okay. But
anyway, she's a liar. Little girls are liars. That's my point.
She's a liar. The little girl is a liar. But yeah, to your point, she doesn't kiss Father Dyer when Mom is there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Mom leaves, and that's when she does
it. Mm-hmm. That's true. We don't see Chris going, "Oh, look at that. That was nice or sweet or anything." Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, honey, get away from," it's like, "What are you doing?"
Mm-hmm.
But like you see her kind of like realize it though, like in that close-up shot. So I don't think she was like trying to like wait until Mom left.
Right.
I think it just happened to happen, after Mom had started getting in the car.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think so.
But yeah, so we cut to a 2-shot just as Reagan leaves it, making it a 1-shot. And Dyer looks after her with what I'm reading as relief mixed with sadness, and mostly sadness. I think he's relieved that Reagan is okay. Her ordeal is over, but what about Dimmy? Like, what about his ordeal? Like, how did it all finish up? Did he find his faith? Did he redeem himself? Dyer is watching the only other person who was in that room get into a car and drive away.
Yeah.
That's got to be a special kind of anguish right there. To have been with your friend as he died, but not know the details. Like, that's the worst of both worlds, right? Because, like, usually you don't know the details because you weren't there.
Yeah.
But he was there. He like his friend died in his arms, but he still doesn't know like how it happened. Like, what do you think of this look? Are you reading that on his face right now?
Yeah, because he can't like just take her by the shoulders and say, "Remember, little girl, like what happened? I need this. This is super important to me," right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's mixing all of that. Like, oh, good, she's fine. Oh, good, she doesn't remember it. But that also means that I'm never gonna get my answers necessarily.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting thinking about his arc within the whole movie, because in both versions, the theatrical and TVYNS, the movie will end with Father Dyer. So like he's who we're experiencing the emotionality of the ending of the film through.
Yeah.
And he met Reagan, but not in a ministerial way. He was at this party and he was sort of just enjoying himself, right? And then it turned out that this girl was really sick and then really possessed and all this. And like just thinking about that, like, oh God, I was there that night and she had this thing, and she peed on the floor and told that astronaut he was gonna die, and I wasn't there for her, is how I would be if I was Father Dyer, right? Like I was right there at the beginning of this and I didn't even know it was a problem, and then my best friend gets thrown out a window. Like it's just crazy. Yeah.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, of course he would be like playing all of it back, and he'd be like, "Oh, that was the start of it," or that was like the early stages of it, and I
was there,
and I didn't see, like, my eyes were clouded. Right?
Yeah, I don't know if I were Father Timon here, being the life of the party, I might be like, and I was having such a good time, and everyone was like listening to me play the piano, and I was the star of the night, and right under my nose something awful was happening, like a real possession that murdered my best friend.
Yeah,
it's a lot of stuff.
Sometimes Hakuna Matata is not the answer.
Yeah.
Actually, most times Hakuna Matata is not the answer.
Simba learned that.
Yeah.
But there was a whole really, really persuasive song before that. So you get why Simba spends another 30 minutes believing that Hakuna Matata is the right answer.
Yeah. 30 minutes like in movie time. Right.
Yeah, he grows up.
Yeah. I'm going to say several years in. Yeah.
Well, our Father Dyer is a sensitive soul, though he seems thick-skinned. But it hurts when his friends fly out the window downwind.
And oh, the pain.
Oh, the pain.
thought of changing his name.
What's in a name?
And he got downhearted.
Sing it.
Every time that he...
Lester, not in front of the kids.
No. Sorry. Okay, so after this, we cut to a shot of Karl helping Miss Reagan into the car and then getting into the driver's seat. Oh, Karl, I think I'll miss you most of all. Now, I think in the book, they're getting into a cab, Chris and Reagan. Remember, Karl's going to drive their car home cross country, which has got to be his favorite part of this whole Washington escapade. He has been looking forward to that ever since they arrived. And then the shit started going down while he was in the bathroom, no less. And the only thing that kept him going was the thought of the wind in his hair, the feel of 195 horses under the hood, and the windows rolled all the way down as American Pie blasts through the state-of-the-art cassette tape player, which was not normally included but was in the optional upgrade feature at this time. And since Chris sent Karl to buy the car rather than go herself, he opted for it, and she still hasn't noticed.
Right.
And he'll never use it when she's in the car. He'll play Miss Reagan's tapes if he's driving her somewhere. But he'll be like, just don't tell your mother. This was like an extra $500 in 1970s money.
How much is that in today's money, Karl? Like $500.
What do you think are on Miss Reagan's tapes?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I feel like it's something that Karl, he doesn't disapprove, but he also doesn't understand it.
Like Partridge Family. He's like, it is improbable that every member of this family is singing and grooving along.
Families are not this happy. Actually, okay, now we got to figure out like what every character listens to. So I've pulled up a list of the most popular songs.
Okay.
Right? We're going to play a little game. This is a new segment. You like how we figure out new segments just as the movie's coming to an end, folks? All right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, this will be called "The Devil Has All the Best Tunes." All right. So I'm gonna say a song, and we're both gonna say who we think listens to it. Okay, and these are all songs that were popular, spreading across different genres from 1970 to 73. All right, so we got the Jackson 5, ABC, 1, 2, 3, Reagan.
Willie. I bet she grooves to it, Willie. Yeah, when no one's looking.
When she's clean, it's like easy as 1, 2, 3.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. We got the Osmonds.
Okay.
One Bad Apple.
I don't know that one.
I don't either, actually. Apparently, it was popular at this time. One Bad Apple.
All right.
Okay, I got mine. 1, 2, 3. The Horseman.
Oh, of course it would be the Horseman.
But I like how, like, yeah. The problem is we didn't do our research and figure out what this song was actually about.
No. All we know is about apples. It is the Horseman. You're absolutely right.
Right. Well, wait. I mean, like judging a song by its title, you know. But I can see Howdy singing. It's like yeah, because that's me. I'm one.
I'm one bad apple. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. We got.
He's from the Garden of Eden area. He's from
right.
Mesopotamia. So.
Obviously, yeah. That's a good point. Yeah. Okay. The Partridge Family.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. I Think I Love You is the song title.
I've already said that I think this is Reagan's jam.
You think it's Reagan?
So, yeah, who
you know what?
Think? Yeah.
I'm gonna say Reagan or Chris, because she's kind of like yeah, we're like the Partridge Family minus like 6 other people,
right? And the bus, and me spending time with my child in any way at all.
No. We would. She is a good mom. We have established this.
Yeah.
Elton John. Crocodile Rock.
Oh, okay. Crocodile Rock.
Let me think.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3.
Dire.
Sharon. Oh.
Sharon likes a crocodile. She likes the animal songs.
Yeah. Your answers are so much better than mine.
No. I think
Dyer would love Crocodile Rock.
yeah.
He'd be all about Elton
on
John
the
because it's a piano. He's just like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, yeah, okay. Okay, and then we got, Carly Simon, You're So Vain.
Oh, that's come up a couple times in our show, I think.
Yeah, it
right?
has. Yeah, so I'm going to say 1, 2, 3,
Howard.
Howdy.
Oh, we're so close. Howard and Howdy are the same person in many ways. We have
essentially, yeah, right. All right. We also got the Rolling Stones, Wild Horses. No. We don't know yet. Okay. Yeah. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Sharon.
There we go. Yeah.
Absolutely.
We got Led Zeppelin. Stairway to Heaven.
Oh gosh.
Our favorite. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Dimmy.
Bishop Michael. Of course. Of course it's Dimmy. I was thinking about Bishop Michael's stairs outside of his office. But no, of course you're right.
Stairway to Heaven, yeah.
Dimmy, yes.
Or it could be, could be Howdy being ironic, right? Like Rain on Your Wedding Day.
Yeah, that's Howdy's favorite song.
Oh, yeah. Okay. We got... our buddy David Bowie, who plays Satan in our version of Paradise Lost.
Right.
And it's Changes.
Changes.
Yeah. All right. So I'm thinking this just kind of seems like the anthem for this movie. Changes.
That's right.
All right.
All right. I think I got it.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. Dr. Klein.
Oh, Dr. Klein. That's funny.
The problem with your daughter is not her bed. And then he just turns on the radio.
All right. Yeah. Changes. Yeah, that. I think you're right with that one.
Yeah. A couple of quick ones here. We got Marvin Gaye, "What's Going On." I think Chris would be singing that all through this thing. Temptations, "Papa Was a Rolling Stone." Probably Howdy again, rolling everybody down those stairs. Stevie Wonder, "Superstition." I'm thinking.
What's her name?
Mary Jo?
Mary Jo Perrin, yeah.
Mary Jo Perrin? Okay. I was thinking this would be the doctor's go-to. It's like no, it's just superstition,
Superstition, right.
Yeah. But yeah, okay. So thanks for coming with us on this segment, folks. This Devil Has All the Best Tunes. Yeah. We'll be sure to do this 3 more times, just to,
sure we will,
just to make sure that it's a consistent thing. No, yeah, this is probably the first and the last time for this segment, but yeah.
Well, we got it in just in time, I'd say.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. But yeah, okay. So this all came from Karl's cross-country adventure. Because Blatty says he drives the car from Washington back to L.A., and it's implied that both Willie and Sharon will get home some other way, probably another flight. But I like to think that they get their own Thelma and Louise situation,
yeah,
like who knows, maybe they bump into Karl at a gas station, right? like maybe it's a race to get home between Karl and the ladies, right?
A Cannonball Run, yeah, of course.
Right, something's riding on it. It's like the loser has to do the other one's chores for a month in addition to their own chores,
right? But wait,
Karl's not the sharpest knife in the drawer
because he's volunteering to do 2 people's chores. Yes. And if they lose, if they win, they have to do half the amount of chores.
Right. They would divide Karl's duties between them. And they explained this to Karl during the betting. But he was so, like, his pride would not allow him to. He was like, I
Right.
am aware of that. I knew that. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
But yeah. So he has to win, right?
These are high stakes on
High
the
stakes.
Exorcist minute.
Yes. Yeah. In any case, that doesn't happen here. Karl takes Chris and Reagan in the big car to the airport, and in this version, he drops them off, drives back to the house, and he, Willie, and Sharon have a huge rager. All the priests are there.
Right.
Kinderman's there. 88 doctors and a hypnotist. Somehow, Billy Friedkin and Bill Blatty are there. The Horseman shows up. Jesuit Dean. That's why Willie's smiling in this minute. She's thinking about that party, right? When the cat's away, the mousetraps.
Right, but ain't no party like a Karl party, because a Karl party don't want no straps.
Yeah, they're pulling out all the straps for this party. But yeah, Karl helps Miss Reagan into the car and then gets in the driver's seat. We cut back to Father Dyer. It's a close-up as he watches the car drive out of the driveway. As it begins to move, he says very quietly, "Bye," which I thought was interesting. Like, he's saying it to them, I guess, but there's no way that they can hear him. So he's kind of saying it to himself, or for himself, you know? And again, it feels like maybe he's saying goodbye to Damien, or the hope of knowing what happened to Damien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who are you trying to convince, Bill?
Yeah.
The Snoopy? I assume he just has a Snoopy shirt underneath his. But anyway, yeah, it's very
I'm
sad.
glad you did that, because I was about to jump in with the pizza. But yeah, as the car passes, he smiles and he gives a little wave, and then he follows it out, and Willie is on it. Before Dyer is even past the gate, she has walked over and is closing it. But she gives him a smile, and she says, "Bye, Father." We cut, and we're outside the gate looking in as Dyer says, "I hope I see you again," to which she replies, "I hope so too." And he actually helps her close the gate the rest of the way. And just as he's closing the gate, we hear Chris off camera say, "Father Dyer." Dyer turns and looks, and then the camera follows him as he sprints over, hands shoved in his coat pockets against the cold, to where the car is now idling. We cut again. We're looking at Chris through the open backseat window. She reaches out a white-gloved hand and says, "I thought you'd like to keep this." Dyer holds out his own hand, and then we cut to a close-up of the hands as Chris gives him Dimmy's St. Joseph medallion. The shot lingers just long enough for us to see what it is. And in the theatrical version, we cut from here to the car driving away, implying that Dyer still has the medallion. Now, in TVYNS, the version you've never seen, we now cut to an interesting shot. It's supposed to be the reaction shot of Father Dyer, but we're not seeing his eyes. We're seeing the top of his head as he looks down at the medallion. And I like this. I like that we can see enough of what's going on in his face, but it's not like an extreme close-up or anything. We don't even need to see his eyes. Keenan, is there like a reason that this works here and the extreme close-up wouldn't, or like would either one be okay?
I think that we're sort of removed from it a little bit, right? So that's I think what Friedkin would want. Like, oh, here's a guy having some real emotion, and we could see that, but we're not really with him. We're sort of observing him having this emotional response, right?
Oh, okay. It's like we're across the street and we're like, oh, what's that? You know, like I hope that guy's okay. Like,
hope that guy's okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of removed, and we could make you cry at the end of The Exorcist, but I don't think Friedkin is interested in that.
Yeah. No, just making his actress cry.
That's right.
So we see his mouth working, maybe to say something, maybe to
Mm-hmm.
swallow his grief. Maybe it's the brief struggle before he finally makes a decision here.
Mm-hmm.
And then right before we cut away, we actually see his eyes when he looks back up at Chris. And then we cut back to the hands as his
Mm-hmm.
fingers close around the medallion.
Mm-hmm.
And then his hand moves back towards the car, and his other hand reaches out to take Chris's hand. He pulls it to him and drops the medallion back into her hand, saying, "Why don't you keep it?" He closes her fingers over the medallion, clasping her hand in both of his. Now, I don't know if I would have been able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
That might have been his only physical link to Damien, whom,
Mm-hmm.
it's never stated outright, but you get the impression that they are not just friends, but best friends.
They are best friends.
Yeah. And he just gave, like, Dimmy's medallion to this lady whom he barely knows.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows if she's even going to keep it, you know?
Right.
Like we saw how she reacted when Sharon showed it to her a couple minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Is she really gonna appreciate it as much as Dyer would? Would
Mm-hmm.
Reagan, who like apparently doesn't remember according to
Right.
Chris,
Mm-hmm.
but maybe that's why I'm not a priest. I don't know. What do you think, Keenan?
Yeah, hate it.
Mm.
I don't like this change. I don't understand this change
Mm.
at all. And I know, right? Like it's a change, but that's how they shot it. That's what they wanted originally,
Right.
but I don't understand it. So I'm wondering how much of that is because it is different. It's not the theatrical version that I'm just having this knee jerk reaction to that. But
Mm.
yeah, I think you're articulating a lot of the reasons why I've never quite understood it. Like maybe this moment could work potentially if there was like an arc to it. Let's say it's not the St. Joseph's medallion, like it's something
Mm.
else, like it's I don't know, some cool thing that Damien, he had a little Zippo lighter that he would always
Mm.
open up and there was some kind of conversation. This is all hacky because we're just doing it live now,
Right.
but
Yeah.
then Joe was like, hey, I would love one of those, I've always wanted one of those, and Damien was like, oh, you
Oh.
can't have this, this is mine or whatever.
Mm.
And then at the end of the movie, right, they're like, oh, this is yours now. And then he's like, you know what? I don't need it. Actually, I've discovered something, right? It wasn't about this artifact of his that I wanted. It was about him, and I don't need this anymore, right?
Right.
I feel like what this is trying to do,
Mm.
but I don't understand it here because he might have his own St. Joseph. Like he doesn't want a St. Joseph medallion. He wants this relationship with Damien, right?
Right.
So yeah, I don't understand it at all. And I think Chris is right to give it to him, right? Like she feels maybe honored by having it or burdened by it, but she knows that he would feel even more honored by it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. If her whole objective,
Mm-hmm.
and I think we've established that in earlier shots,
Mm-hmm.
is she wants to be done with this. She wants to forget this. She wants to get as far away from it as possible.
Right.
Father, she doesn't remember any of it.
Mm-hmm.
And also she has that look when Sharon shows her the medallion. She's like, ugh,
Right.
like I would think, like, can you imagine, like, why don't you keep it?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're driving off, and you just see her gloved hand just like toss it out the window. And she's,
right. She won't do that, but she'll put it in a drawer somewhere.
Yeah,
And try not to remember it. Right.
that thing's never going to see the light of day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, because to her that'll be, it's like a re-triggering of the
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm not sure. I've tried a lot to try to think of like, well, what is the benefit of doing it this way here? And I don't know. I understand that I'm colored so much by liking the previous ending so much and knowing that, and then seeing this recut of it. But yeah, I can't think of the positive reason why this would work.
Oddly,
Mm-hmm.
you provided the only answer that I can think of.
Oh, all right.
Like way back in the beginning episodes when we were in Iraq, and you were describing Marin as that impossible Christian who was doing all of the things that that his religion calls upon him to do,
Okay.
right? Like giving the shirt off his back, right?
Mhm.
Turning the other cheek, and like just giving of himself without a thought, right?
Mhm.
Giving up his possessions, giving up things that are dear to him, or sacrificing his time,
Mhm.
his
His presence, right? Just giving of
yeah.
himself. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I can see like, oh, this is kind of like a bookend to that. It's like we
Mhm.
saw Father Marin being like this, being
Mhm.
the impossible Christian um, in the beginning of the film, and now Father Dyer has, he's kind of like been through the fire, maybe
Mhm.
not directly because he
Mhm.
wasn't the one, in the exorcism, but he has experienced, he has grown a little bit, and
Okay.
it's like now I'm gonna do that same thing. I'm
All
going to
right.
I'm going to give something that is dear to me to somebody else who, probably won't even appreciate it as much.
All right, maybe, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think if that's again, I think if that's what it was, then it needed a beat where we see him change, like where what I'm saying, where it's like
Yeah.
it doesn't feel like a sacrifice here.
Right. We need an indication that like somewhere in the middle of the movie that Dyer is trying to be a better priest, and
Yeah,
this is
yeah, but it's also yeah, he didn't even know this thing existed, so
yeah,
it's not a sacrifice. I mean,
yeah,
he didn't know. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
So
No, and folks, this is different from some of these other things because it's like it seems little because like the object is physically very very little, right?
right.
But it alters the truth of
Mm-hmm.
the movie in a way that like watching it in 73, like we thought he was walking away with
Mm-hmm.
his friend's medallion in his pocket,
Right. Mm-hmm.
and now we're like, oh no, he didn't do that, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's more than just like extra footage, right? It's more than just like, oh, before he went to the steps, he went to the tombs and got a burger or something like that, right? Something that like you could take it or you leave it. It's like it doesn't really like affect anything. Like this
Right.
actually changes what happens at the end.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. In the original cut, he gets this medallion and then he goes and looks at the place where Damien died.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ambiguous about what he thinks, but he is thinking about those connections.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
In the screenplay here, I know you read how it works in the book here, but
Yeah.
in the screenplay, it happens just all of this happens on the stoop.
Mm.
And again, Dyer has come in and is like, "Hey, just coming to say so long, etc." And
Mm-hmm.
there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot more conversation.
Yeah.
They say we're going to miss each other, etc. But while that's all happening, we don't have this change in location, which I think is really key to why this
Mm.
works so well in the movie, where they get in the car and it's the very last thing that's happening. It's like this happens a lot. I think like
Mm-hmm.
it's a good reason why this happens in drama. Like a buddy comes over to hang out and he wants to say something the whole evening and doesn't get around to it, and it's, all right, well, you
Right.
better get going. And then, well, now it's the time for me to lay out that I've cheated on my girlfriend and she's
Right.
leaving me, and like like that happens a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a reason why that's so good in drama, right? Like, hey, it's the last time we can see, and we're already like halfway down the street, and come over here and do that, and have this conversation about this medallion, because in the script um it's all on the stoop.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
here. Hi, this honey, this is Father Dyer. Hi, Father. He tussles her hair,
Hmm.
which is a little bit more emotional, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know why we do that to kids, by the way.
I don't either.
But I really have the urge. Always just like, oh, your hair. Just I want to mess up your hair. I don't know what that's about, but your hair's all nice. I don't want it to be nice.
Your mom worked so hard on
You worked so
this
hard on it,
to make you
right?
presentable to the outside world. You know what? Fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that. I don't know why that is, but I don't think I'm the only one, because
Mm.
yeah, Blatty wants Dyer to mess up her hair,
Yeah.
right? So, anyways, they have a little bit more of a conversation, and Karl comes over. And then Chris remembers the medal still in her hand, so she's had the medal in her hand the entire time.
Mm.
She offers it to him. Oh, I forgot, here. Dyer instantly recognizes the medal, stares at it a moment, then, why don't you keep it? A beat. Dyer sees that Chris's eyes are clouding with tears. Dyer, it's all right, Chris. For him, it's the beginning. Chris holds his gaze, then nods. And
Hmm.
still, I'm not sure what that means necessarily. So I'm giving this to you so you alleviate your guilt, which isn't happening in the movie at all. Or I'm not sure what that means either.
Yeah. I can't remember. Did we already read the part about like the feast and everything?
Yes, you read that in the book. Yeah.
In the last one. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So when in the book they've seen each other before this scene. They've seen each other at the funeral, at the feast. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's that's what he means when he says for him it's the beginning. But yeah, it still doesn't like, you know.
But that's not about the medal in the book.
Right. What about you, Dyer? What about for you?
Right.
Keep that medal. Take that medal. You don't gonna, you got to be off the clock sometimes. Sheesh. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Not sure what this is.
So you wouldn't be able to do that. You'd be like you're the priest in this
personally,
equation.
I would not be able to. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
She hands you the medal and you're like, thanks, and then that's it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks. This means a lot to me.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
It means more to me than to you.
It's impossible that it would mean any of the things that it means. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Any of the things that it means to him.
Yeah.
She won't grow into that.
No. You hear that, movies? You hear that, believer? You hear that, TV shows? I can't remember if it happened on the TV show, but
I don't know. I didn't see the TV show.
Yeah. No. Chris does not is not a fan of religion still. Let's keep it that way. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so we cut, and we're a little bit behind Dyer as he steps back and he watches the car drive away. Rather quickly. Did you catch that? Like in both cuts, because I watched both of them side by side, and that thing peels out of there.
Yeah, Karl is ready to go.
we are already behind schedule, madam.
Yeah, she's like, wait a second, Karl, I need to give something to Father Dyer. You have 7 seconds.
Yeah. I have written in a sentimental moment between you and Dyer for this at this time, but it is only 7 seconds. But yeah, so and we cut again to a shot of Dyer watching them go. This also, I think, is a great shot. There's nothing particularly special about it. Maybe it's just because I've seen this exact shot in all the magazines and the articles, etc. Like, it's just a good shot of Dyer. Maybe I remember it from like a character bio or something, right? Like, it's like here's all the characters in this movie, and it's like when they have the thing about Dyer, it's like this photo right here.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, again, it is this. I'm going to contradict myself in the next coming minutes, but it's so interesting that like we have our hero, protagonist, and main character, and they're bifurcated into these 3 roles, and then now this is the shot trifurcated. Oh my goodness, yeah. This is the shot where we have said goodbye to all of them. So now we're a little bit like, well, what are we now? Oh, we're gonna feel the rest of this movie out through Dyer, and that's very interesting.
Yeah. It is. Boy, this movie has been. I mean, I feel like I've learned quite a lot just from doing this show with you and having you teach us about kind of the structure of a film, the structure of the acts and everything, right? But yeah, this film has a lot of exceptions to the rule, right? It has a really long Act 1. And yeah, we've also divided the hero / protagonist / main character up into 3 parts. And then we end with, none of them. We end with somebody else. Yeah.
Which I like, and then I'm going to contradict that next minute where I'm like, well, now there's 2 of them and I don't like it anymore.
Oh. So you say, so you like it? You like that it's ending with Dyer?
Yes.
Ah, okay. But then, when we get some extended edition stuff, that's when you say, this is getting out of hand. Now there are 2 of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Right, we're multiplying.
Yes. But yeah, and then, folks, our last shot is of the car driving away. We can just make out 3 figures inside, Karl driving, Chris in the passenger seat, and then in the back, looking at Father Dyer, we see Reagan, and she's waving to him. Mm-hmm. It's a really sweet shot to end on. She's all better. The family is going home. Things are going to be okay. Mm-hmm. And that is all of my notes on this minute. Keenan, how about you? Is there anything else?
No, I think we got it.
All right, folks, this has been another excellent Exorcist Minute. I've been Lester Ryan Clark. You can reach me on all the socials as Lester Ryan Clark.
And I've been Keenan Diaz. You could find me on Instagram and Letterboxd at Howdy Keenan.
Yeah, we got our listener group, Compelling Conversations. Go check that out and request to join, and we'll let you in here with us. Thank you so much to everyone who has shared the show by word of mouth or on social media, and a big thank you to everyone who has given us a 5-star ratings on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to our show. We really appreciate it. It's going to help our little podcast grow and find more cool people like you. Okay, Keenan, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
I think I am, Lester.
Folks, until next time. The power of screaming goats compels you.
So that brings us to our new segment.
Yes, folks, this is the post music segment that we just realized. You may have heard us mention the popular show Is It Cake in one of our bonus episodes. So this segment is called Is It Goat? And we are going to play a noise for you, and you have to decide whether or not it is a goat or a human. So here we go. Here's the first one.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Well, folks at home, I hope you have the answer firmly in your mind, because it is in fact a goat.
Oh, yes.
That one was a goat. Believe it or not, that one was a goat. Yeah. All right. Okay. Here is number 2. Okay, so that one's a little bit tougher.
Yes, it has that dread like a human, but also that insistence like a goat. I don't know.
Okay, so listeners, got it locked into your brains. The answer is, it is a goat.
That fooled me. Yeah, that sounded like some existential post-capitalist dread, which I guess goats can also have.
Yeah. You know, they're pretty smart, actually. Yeah. Okay, so here is number 3.
It flames on the side of my face, heaving breath.
Well, folks, are you ready?
Yeah.
It is the goat.